When I was younger, I used to live walking distance to the recreation center, a small recreation center. When I was younger, you had the white side of the track, and then you had the black side of the track. So you had a white recreation center, and you had a black recreation center. And everybody in that little small town that I come up in, you know, in the summertime, the swimming pool. So everybody was at that swimming pool. So my nickname was Water Dog. I was a water dog. So I learned how to swim at a very young age. I mean, the house I grew up in, right beside the house was like a ditch, and we used to get in trouble all the time for being in the ditch. And so I learned how to swim at a young age. And my uncles, I had a couple of uncles. They were like lifeguards. I always said that if either one of my uncles, I had two of them. One of them right now, he swims in the Special Olympics. He's in the senior citizens Special Olympics. He swims in that band and wins medals every year. I mean, and then the other uncle, he spent most of his time in prison. He was locked away, but when he was home, man, he was terrible on that diving board, man. He was terrible. I mean, those two uncles, they were like fish, man, like black fish out there, man. So I learned how to swim real early at an early age, and it made me dividends later on in life. But that's how I used to. That was one of my favorite things to do, was swimming. And so I used to go to the swimming pool all the time. I played basketball too. I was pretty good. At least I thought so. I was pretty good. I used to get chosen sometimes. You go to the center, go to the recreation center, and you're playing pickup games, and a bunch of folks out there, man. Y'all start picking teams. I got chose. I played pretty good. I didn't think I was good enough at the time to go to no pros or nothing like that, but I was pretty good. I held my own. And besides going to the pool, like I told y'all one time before, I used to spend a lot of time with my uncle. And so JLB, that's what I call it. And the nickname was Baldy. And so, because he had a bald head. And so, he did time in prison and stuff. But the one thing I learned from him coming up was, I learned from him, not just him, all the males that was in my life, the family males. I took a little bit from everybody. I did, because it was something about me I look at the good stuff and I look at the bad stuff, and I knew, of course, what was bad. I wasn't really drawn to that. I wasn't drawn to it, but I didn't run from it either. I was taught how to deal with it, because there was a lot of bad stuff going on around me. And it was, my family had a few bad people in it. But like I said, I had the one uncle that would, he was like a mentor, like an older brother, teaching me, how to be a man. My dad, he was in my life too. But again, my daddy, he was an alcoholic, and I didn't know why he was like that. I just knew I didn't want to be like that. But anyway, life goes on, and I learned how to swim, and it little did I know later on it was going to pay me dividends in the future, huge dividends. But it gave me a purpose. It gave me a purpose at the time. And so I used to go swimming all the time, man, in the summer. Now, I did that, right? Some summers I was able to do that, because back then, like I said, I was raised up in a bootlegger's house, and you know, in the summertime, uh, my grandmother used to make us go work in the fields. We used to go pick cucumbers. We used to, sometimes there was cotton, and we used to pick watermelons. Any type of agriculture, anything that grew, we would go pick it to make money. That's how we paid for our school clothes. Okay? And I remember my uncle telling me, he said, man, if you want something, you got to work for it. But back then, you know, you worked, you made that money, but that money went to our grandma. And then she did with it whatever she felt she needed to do with it, because she was providing for us, you know. But I knew about working, and I knew what working was all about. And I knew it wasn't nothing that you could complain about, because that was the culture. That was the way of life. That's what you had to do. You know, everybody had to do their part. And, you know, that's what we did as kids. You know, we learned from an early age how to work. And we also learned how to work, and you worked, and, you know, what you got from it was, you know, you got food, you had somewhere to stay, and you had clothes on your back.